This is Life Strategies with Monique.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Life Strategies with Monique. On today's episode, I have the pleasure of being able to interview a young lady by the name of Tammy Sorrento. Tammy Sorrento is the owner of a company entitled Fireball Approves, and this is a very unique industry because what she does is she focuses on rental scam prevention. So to my listeners out there, if you've ever been in a situation where you were getting ready to rent properties, Fireball Approves is the company that will help you investigate in the event you get scammed. So welcome to the show, Tammy.
Thank you, Monique. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, tell me, Fireball Approves, and that is such an interesting title, Fireball Approves. When I heard that, I was like, well, what exactly does that mean?
Do you know that everyone has the same reaction? And they usually ask me, why in the world did you call it that? Because it doesn't say what I do.
Right.
But the reason I called it Fireball Approves is because Fireball is sort of my nickname. I'm very tenacious. If something needs to be unearthed, I will do it. Someone once said that the difference between a bulldog and me is that the bulldog will eventually let go. But once again, Fireball Approves doesn't say what I do. But Monique, I did that intentionally. And that's because I started my business, Fireball Approves Investigation Agency, with one focus. And that focus is keeping renters safe. You have heard, you can turn on the news. You can just Google rental scams. And you will hear story after story after story where someone sends money to someone that they don't know, thinking that they're either going to have a long-term rental or a vacation rental or even, anything in between, any type of rental property. Then they get there and it was not the person that they should have been dealing with. And this actually happened. I came very close to a situation before I started my business. I am an insurance professional. I have adjusted claims, investigated claims for 25 years. So I knew what the pitfalls were. And the one that I contacted for a family vacation, which was about, I guess the place we were looking to go was about 8 hours away. And I would have been traveling with my 4 grandchildren. So as I'm speaking to this person, I said, you know what? I just don't know for sure that you are who you say you are. Now, I checked the public records. I knew the address, so I Google mapped it. There was a house there. I checked the property appraiser to see who owned it. And the person that I was corresponding with actually was so sneaky that they created a Gmail email address in the name of the owner. So even if you do what I just said, and you check the appraiser and you say, okay, I know that Joe Smith owns this property that I want to rent. Well, how do you know that the person you are corresponding with is Joe Smith? So that was my quandary. So I expressed to the person, I said, you know what? I just don't know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are who you say you are. I need some type of proof. And we hem and hawed. He even, I totally canceled any type of reservation. I didn't send any money. And he contacted me 2 days later. So this is another tactic that they use. Unfortunately, when I was looking for this rental, it was a last minute thing. So he knew that I was pressed for time. So he called me like 2 days later and he says, hey, I was working with you longer and I've got other people also interested in this rental. And I've been renting this property before you and I'll be renting this property after you. And I said, hey, I still don't have any proof. All I have is your cell phone number and your email address. I don't know that I am corresponding with the owner.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, I'll send you some references. And he sent me some invoices that looked just like the ones that he sent to me. They were very professional, very creative, and there were no phone numbers. So, like anyone else, I Googled a phone number and I called the victim. And this just blows my mind, Monique, that how did he not realize that he was dealing with Fireball and that I would get to the bottom of this? So I'm speaking to the victim and she says, first off, why did he give you my information? That makes no sense. And second off, that was a total scam. And she was so very embarrassed, which every time that I speak to a victim, I know they are embarrassed. But you know what? I have a theory. It's not shame on the victim because they trusted someone. It's shame on the person that would take advantage of anyone.
Mm-hmm. So in actuality, people have properties that are being put up as if they're going to be rented, but not actually being rented. People are just trying to get the money out of them.
Absolutely. Here's what happened in this situation is the person that owned that rental actually does rent it out. So the scammer hijacked the ad, saved the photographs, and created a brand new ad and went as far as checking to see who the owner was, which in the state of Florida, anyone can do. You just look up the county's property appraiser's information. Now, keep in mind, Monique, that not every state has public records. Like California, you cannot search a home and find out who the owner is. So with this situation, I asked the victim, she was from Chicago. She said, yes, her and her husband flew from Chicago New Year's Eve weekend, and there was someone, the true renters were in that home. So they had no place to stay. They had to find temporary accommodations on New Year's Eve in Key West. So I asked her, well, you used your credit card and you used PayPal, so you were protected by 2 different companies, right? She said that it took her 6 months to get her refund for this scam because her credit card issuer considered that person to person and not person to business. Now, Monique, I don't know a lot of people that could float temporary accommodations on New Year's Eve in Key West. I'm sure that was an arm and a leg.
Definitely.
And the money that she was out for the scam. So that opened my eyes. And instead of just being, thankful that I didn't fall for the scam, I just thought, you know what? that was so easy for someone to sit who knows where, create a fake ad, and collect money and give nothing in return. And it was just a calling to my heart. And I said to myself, I have to do something about this. And then Fireball Approves was born. And to go back to why I named it Fireball Approves, right now we are concentrating on rental properties. No one else is doing this. But this is not going to be the only product that I ever offer. I am planning to attack every scam that is out there. I know you've heard of the jobs where you work from home.
Oh, yeah.
Major scam. And then there's even a new twist to that scam is you fill out the application. You have just given the scammers your identity.
Wow.
So then they
I don't even think that is, I'm so glad you just said that, because I don't even think people really, really realize in that instance what they've just done, because identity theft is such a huge thing now.
Yes.
That, they're copying like bank emails and like PNC, Wells Fargo. I mean, they're just doing everything they possibly can, duplicating, even on Facebook, just duplicating accounts for the sole purpose of trying to gain somebody's information so that they can either scam or take their identity or, create a credit, on this other person. It just amazes me that people go through so many lengths.
Yes, they do. If they use that creativity and energy for something positive, can you just imagine?
Yes, it'd be a great world. It really would.
I received an email, now that you mentioned that, I received an email and it was comical, and I put it on my Facebook page at Fireball Approves. So on my Facebook page, any type of scam I'll report on. And this ended up in my own mailbox, my inbox. And it did not go to my junk file, which I couldn't understand. But you're going to laugh. The email said, "We hacked your computer and we recorded what you were doing when you were watching a porn site. And if you don't give us money, we're going to send all your contacts this video."
That was an email? Really?
It was an email.
Oh, my goodness.
And I knew that it was bogus because I don't.
Wow.
There's no way they don't have any of that information. So I researched it, and it's a new scam.
Yeah. What's interesting about that is if it identifies with an individual, then they'll respond.
Exactly.
So the red flag is if you don't identify with it, you're like, oh no, that's a scam, because that's not even me. And I think that's where a lot of people may fall short, because they end up identifying with it. And so they immediately respond because it was something that was in that email that they connected with. It's kind of like the new scam with them calling you on your phone from the IRS. Okay, IRS is not going to call me. For sure, they are not calling me. And I know they're not calling me. They'll get you by mail, but they are definitely not going to call you.
They're going to knock on your door.
But
a true story about this. So I started the company, and of course I go through all the licensing and the insurance and all this. And I was in the car getting ready to attend a small business administration class on new businesses, and I get that IRS call. And Monique, my heart stopped, because I immediately thought, oh no, maybe I didn't set up a tax account correctly. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And I must have just sweated bullets. And when I got off the phone, my husband looked at me and said, you know the IRS is not going to call you.
So true. So true.
So if it made me scared, it's
Yeah.
very, very believable.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's very sad, but I do know in our world where, I mean, in this present day world, we are dealing with a lot of people who are out to do nothing but scam. That's their full-time job. And that is why what you are doing is so important. And I think it is such a needed industry that you're creating, because so many people are needing it actually right now. So go ahead and tell my listeners exactly how your process works so that they can really understand what it is you do and how you serve, how you're serving this
Okay,
world.
I would be happy to. Anyone that is looking for a rental, and once again, it doesn't matter what the duration is. It can be a vacation, it can be, we cater to like traveling nurses. Traveling nurses go to a different area every 13 weeks. So they're constantly looking for rental places. And it can be long term. All you have to do is, when you are looking for your rental, if you find an ad that you're interested in, then you can send us the URL and we will make contact with the advertisers on your behalf. And this is helpful because if you do happen to get a scammer, do you really want to deal with that? So, as an investigator, when we respond to that ad on your behalf, and we will say we're calling from Fireball Approves and we are verifying this rental ad, we find out who they are saying, who they say they are, the property address, and the phone and the email. And the reason I did that is because when I was in that situation, I couldn't find any way as a common consumer to tie all four of those points of information together.
Mm-hmm.
I had two. I knew who the owner was. I knew what the address was. But the phone and the email eluded me. But I created what I wanted. And the cost is only $19. So you will receive a report that states whether or not that ad checked out. Or if a part of it checked out and the other didn't, we will let you know. This is available across the entire United States, Hawaii, Alaska, Puerto Rico. You are literally hiring a private investigator. And who thought that you would have the power to do that? And the cost for our investigation into a rental ad is only $19. So $19 is going to save thousands in chaos, in hassle, in embarrassment. Why would anyone go it alone? And I mean, there are things that you can do like I did, which was check public records, but at the end of the day, do you know for sure? So
Mm-hmm.
$19 is for peace of mind. And I often get asked, why am I only charging that much? But Monique, the reason is I wanted to price it where everyone can use it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted it to be affordable enough that it makes more sense to use it than not. We had a case when I was on the news locally. We had a situation where a single mother of two, which speaks to me because I was a single mother of two at one time, and she had a ad from Craigslist, and she was looking for a long term, and this would have been a home. And she sent us the ad. We contacted, found out that the house was in foreclosure.
Wow.
So someone's either checking the foreclosure list and creating an ad, or driving around and seeing the empty homes. Who knows how that scammer got that information? But that person was up to no good. And
So let me ask you this question. So when we
yes.
talk about these scammers and how they are able to copy these ads and repost them out there and put them out and, just put them out there, what or how are they able to not leave a trace when people have actually sent them money?
Well, it depends on how they send them money. For instance, a lot of scammers are going to ask you to wire the money. Red flag. Never, ever wire money to someone you don't know, because that is no different than sending cash.
Wow.
Even if you use your credit card and PayPal, like the victim in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
she eventually got her money back, but look at how long that took.
Right.
And then on top of it, the person could be from anywhere. They could be sitting at a computer in another country. They could be in another state. They could, I mean, it's the length of the crime and how to actually shut them down. That is an immense problem. I even went to the FBI building close to my home, and I told them, I said, I am finding these scams, and I know, because of my research, I'm a private investigator, I can tell you at least the city where these people are because of where they're asking for the money to go to. And so they gave me a link that each one that I find that is definitely a scam, I report them to the FBI, because, Monique, I'm not playing around. And I don't care if I work myself out of a job. I want to shut them all down. It just infuriates me.
Yes. Yes. I mean, because people really work hard for their money. And when you are working hard and you want to do a vacation and then you get there and you don't have a place to stay because somebody rented a property that didn't belong to them, I mean, that is heartbreaking.
That is
Not only
heartbreaking.
that, I mean, you lost money.
Right. Right. And
So I'm with
oftentimes you
you.
will never get that back.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I mean, this is something that really needs to be, tackled in this world with these scammers, because they're popping up more and more every day and they're creating more and more different types of scams. But I'm so glad to see that your company, Fireball, approves. And I love that.
Thank you.
Because
Thank
you are actually approving, whether
Right.
or not this property is
Right.
legitimate. And people need
Exactly.
that security. They want to be secure and saying, I want to know that when I pay my money, I'm getting what I pay for. And you are giving them that security. You are giving them that peace of mind to say, I don't have to worry about, when I purchase this particular piece of property, to stay for a week or a weekend, that I know I'm going to a place. And I know that
Exactly.
me and you talked a little bit about, a few years ago, when I was learning about Airbnbs, I was kind of leery. I was like, oh, I don't know about that. Because I was like, I don't know who I'm talking to, and I can
Right.
send my money and it not even be a place. And so that was just me saying,
Right.
I don't know about that. But it is so much more commonplace now.
It
And that
is very common.
I
And as a
mean,
matter of fact, when we didn't get to go to Key West, I ended up getting an Airbnb, and it was a wonderful location. As a matter of fact, I am now friends with the owner of the home, and he is a gold level member on my website. So it's funny how now I'm serving both sides
mm-hmm.
of the coin. So I protect the renters, and for property owners, and it's mainly for vacation rentals, but we're also getting into the properties that they want the traveling nurses, the short-term rentals. They come to me and they say, I want your seal of approval so that they are Fireball approved. Now, of course, the one that we ended up renting from, he is a gold member because we were there. Not only do I know for a fact that it is him, he is a true owner, but I've also been there, and the location is fabulous. The furnishings were wonderful. So that is the highest accreditation you can get with Fireball approves. We did have someone that didn't realize he was dealing with Fireball, and he wanted to get our accreditation. So he sent in the copy of the passport of the owner that lives in Switzerland. And he said he was a registered agent, that he is the one that does the reservations for the owner.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't think that we would call the owner in Switzerland.
Oh,
And
wow.
that owner said that was a previous employee of mine. He has no reason to be trying to rent my property.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe that? The gall.
Yeah.
Unreal. So if you're looking for a vacation rental, I invite everyone to also go to our website, fireballapproves.com, and you'll find the ones that we have vetted, that we have certified under the property tab. And I'm really proud to do that because if you contact someone that I have already vetted, you have peace of mind.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's say you're looking to go somewhere that I don't have a rental in that area yet. So you do want to use Airbnb or VRBO. I've used both. I've been very pleased with my transaction, but I will say that because of the prolific scams, and this is before I even started this business, that from the time I made the reservation to the time that I ended up at the property, I was a little nervous. I was nervous, like, please be there, please be there. I have my grandchildren with me.
Yeah.
Please don't let me be the one on the news because. So our product works with Airbnb and VRBO. And if any of your listeners use them and they encountered the same as me, here's my tip. If you go to make a reservation on Airbnb or VRBO, oftentimes you don't get the address. You just see the general area.
Right.
Not until you pay the money. Before you pay the money, make sure that there is a good cancellation policy. You're going to see some that are no cancellation. You lose your money. I highly recommend to just skip over those. Swipe left, as they say, or swipe right. But if you find one you're interested in, it fits your needs, and you're ready to you're ready to pay your money, make your reservation, next thing that's going to happen is you're going to get a acknowledgement, and it's going to say who the owner is and the property address and the phone number and the email on how to contact if you have any questions. That you can send straight to me at info@fireballapproves.com, and I will check it out and make sure.
So, and I heard you say $19 just to do this. So is this, so for my listeners, for clarity, that $19 is for per transaction, or is that for more than one? Per property?
It is per transaction, and that is because we are using investigative tools. So we pay for the tool to run the reports to make sure that that property is okay.
Mm. And then once that property is okay and you vetted it, then it goes on your website. And so when people are looking for properties, you've already vetted them, they're okay, and they're safe to be able to rent those places.
What we do is when we do contact them, we invite them that if they want to be listed on our website, that they can. So it is their choice.
Mm-hmm. And that's powerful. I mean, that is powerful
Thank you.
because that allows people to see this is a safe place that I know that I can rent, and I know that it's going to be there when I get there, and I don't have to worry.
Exactly. So families looking for rentals, college students looking for a place to stay, disaster victims, the fires that were in California, and of course on the East Coast, the hurricanes, that is when the scams are escalated. That is
Mm-hmm.
the most vulnerable that someone's going to be. And when any type of disaster is happening, it just really boils my blood to hear, the warnings going out saying, hey, we just heard about, this is the news station. Hey, we just heard about this scam. And I just think, how is that even possible?
Hmm.
But it won't happen on my watch.
Yeah. Yeah. People preying on other people's tragedies, which is
Yes.
tragic in itself. But what an amazing, industry. And I'm going to call it ministry because I
Oh,
know
thank
you're
you.
so passionate about it. And, we've had that conversation, but
Yes.
I think it is such an amazing thing that you're doing to be able to help people and save them from being scammed.
Oh,
As your
absolutely.
business grows, I just know God is going to bless it even more. So,
Well, thank you.
once again, to my listeners out there, if you're even considering purchasing a property or renting a property, please definitely reach out to Tammy Sorrento. She is your go-to gal. Fireball approves. And she would definitely make sure that you are secure in your purchases. She will investigate it and make sure that you're getting what you're paying for. So, Tammy, once again, tell my listeners how they can get in touch with you or how they can find you.
Okay.
Because I'm definitely going to put all of your information in the show notes so that when they go to the link, they definitely can reach out to you. But go ahead and tell my listeners how they can reach out to you.
You betcha. I would love to hear from anyone. If anyone has a story of where they've been scammed, if they're looking for any type of advice, please reach out to me because my main purpose is to protect the public. You can reach me on info@fireballapproved.com. My website is fireballapproved.com. So that's fireballapproved.com. And we are all over social media. So my biggest hurdle is since we are a new market, because no one else is doing this, then no one knows to look for us. So if you would please find it in your heart to help share our information. Our Facebook page is Fireball Approves. There is no space. And there you will find travel tips. You will find any scams that I hear about. And it doesn't have to be rental related. I post information on my Fireball Approves page that is just good information to know. And it doesn't even have to be in my wheelhouse, but I will share it if it's going to help someone for sure. So please go to Fireball Approves on Facebook. It's a Facebook page. Like it and share my content because even if you're not looking for a rental, I guarantee you someone you know is. And
Mm-hmm.
you want to keep them safe. We are all over social media. You can find us on Pinterest. You can find us on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, you can connect with me, Tammy Sorrento, and that's 2 R's, so it's Sorrento. And I also have a LinkedIn page for Fireball Approves. So the more that people share our information, the safer that this market will become. And that is my purpose.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tammy. And to my listeners out there, I hope you got all of that information. But again, it will be in the show notes. So if you didn't get it all down, it'll definitely be on the link. Thank you so much for tuning in on another episode of Life Strategies with Monique. So until next time, stay educated and empowered.
You've been listening to Life Strategies with Monique. Contact Monique Pettaway at www.moniquepettaway.com or info@moniquepettaway.com.